the other, and my guess would be that they'll come back and they'll say, well, that's by far the most cost-effective way to install a launch.
Right.
And there you go.
Yeah, we have the, I mean, this mentioned the topography, doing the topography. Don't we ever, do we pay out? No, we never, they never resurveyed.
No.
Okay. I think this would at least get us,
Yeah.
throw it out there, we can
Yeah,
get
yeah.
some concepts, and we
Yeah.
can, if they all come in at something we love at 70, then we go back and we go, oh, let's get some grant, let's, but,
That's an expensive path into the
yeah,
river.
it should be. Tomorrow is the River Revival, the Greenway Committee meeting, and I'm gonna mention this and get some ideas, cause I know in Lincoln Park, they're working on some stuff, so they may have some ideas.
And maybe if there's some grant money.
Yeah, and I'll alert them to, if they know of anybody who might be interested in a low cost, low impact launch. It'll be out there.
So then, we have this tentatively scheduled to go to the full board at the December 2nd meeting.
That's good,
Fine.
that's good, great. All right, next item, street tree removal policy.
Okay, so you're gonna have to refresh my memory. If either of you were on the Public Works Committee at the
I
time we
remember
first
talking
I
discussed
about
this.
forgot it,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so the the changes that were made to the policy were made, my recollection and notes indicate that they were trustee Warren's requests. He at the time was budget, was Public Works Chair, I believe. So, just in a nutshell, we have, as of late, been receiving more requests to remove street trees to facilitate either driveway expansions or driveway relocations, because people are adding or removing your garage and whatever. And, it's becoming more common. And so we really were hoping for some direction from the board as to whether we say yay or nay. What this does is it does allow for that in most conditions, but it puts the cost on the requesting resident. So if DPW administratively, the forestry agrees that the tree is not what we call a significant tree and can be replaced, the requesting homeowner bears the cost for the removal of that tree. And it's not done by staff, it is done by their approved contractor. And that's pretty common in the communities that we surveyed. Sometimes their staff will do it, but in most cases, the requesting homeowner is charged when it's allowed. In a lot of communities, it's not, it's just flat out not allowed. But, so then they also made, my notes had that you wanted some language to talk about the importance of trees or the significance of trees in the communities. So that's that first red paragraph. That actually is taken right from our EAB plan. And then in the definitions, we changed the significant tree definition. And this was trustee Warren's specific request to say that it's either one of the largest of its species in the village and or the largest tree on the block.
I think we might want to even add to that, or significant in some other way,
Yeah.
to give more discretion. To say, no, we really want to keep this tree for whatever, because somebody could say, well, it's not the largest or the largest on the block. So I'm just thinking we should give us more discretion in what's a significant tree.
Okay. If we can, well, let's just talk through that for a moment. And if I guess my initial response, my immediate response to that would be, I think then maybe we should start talking about size.
Yeah.
Just a flat out, if it's over this size, you can't take it down.
Right, but I mean, what are the bad ash? The white ash or the green ash?
Well, we're kind of at the point where every ash is a bad ash.
Okay, so like if it's an ash, we may say whatever, even if it's big, we'll take it out.
Right, and the last couple requests that we have had, one was an ash, one was like a linden or something that was obviously, you know, in declining
Right,
health.
right.
So those were sort of easy answers, but I mean, someday we're gonna get one we can't justify.
Right, nice
With-
oak
right,
right in the
right.
middle, and you got,
So,
So, well, but that's what I'm saying, I mean, to start defining it gets hard, and
Just
that's why you just give yourself,
right,
I mean, are you worried that if you just say, well, we consider this significant tree and we won't let you take it out, we won't let you take it out, that they'll contest that and say, well,
Yeah.
what do you mean by significant tree?
yeah, define significant tree.
is this
Well,
an
I
administrative?
know it when I see it.
Is this administrative procedure? So
That
you
would be our
just-
intent, yeah.
You would be the administering this policy.
But I mean, if they disagree, typically when we have these types of administrative things that maybe aren't completely spelled out, we say, well, you know, you can certainly take that request to the village board. So I can't remember really the last time it's happened, but, you know, when we say no to someone, they like,
Especially if someone's trying to do improvements to
Sure,
their property.
you're right, oh
Right,
yeah,
do
you
you
got a
like-
tree and they're
Make
like,
their driveway this much wider and there's a big tree there.
it's in
like,
front of their house. I mean, it's like, it's
you know, I
Sorry.
mean, trying to strike a balance between
Right.
not just willy-nilly cutting down trees and being sensitive to the fact that, you know, maybe they've looked at all the options and the only way they can do this property improvement is to move the driveway here, and that means the trees in the
Well,
way.
what are they usually doing, like adding a garage or?
In some cases, sometimes people will, you know, I'm
Well, we
trying
had
to-
one on Lake Bluff that the person didn't have a driveway. That was the latest. They just didn't ever had one. And they put up a garage in the back and needed a
They
driveway.
needed a driveway.
Just so happened to be the only place they could get around their house was on one side, and that's right where the tree was. So we've had that, we've had, yeah, people just widening them
Mhm.
for additional parking or whatever the case
Or,
may be. But
yeah, or like an addition to,
trying to match their overhead
Yeah.
garage door, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, I guess that's the, or the largest tree on the block. I mean, you may have a block that has 2 or 3 really
Yeah.
high quality, large, mature trees that are good trees. And it just doesn't have to be the largest, and it's good. And then you gotta block a whole bunch of little ones, and it's the biggest of those measly little ones, and you go, no, you can't.
yeah. I mean, I guess honestly, it's not like this happens every week,
Right.
or every month, or even every other month. So I think if we have a relatively loose definition of significant,
Right, that would be,
but then someone says, you know, man, Joel, I understand that this is your job to protect these trees, but, you know, I have to go over your head on this. I'm fine with that.
right,
Maybe the board looks at it and goes, you know, you see that there's whatever. I'm perfectly fine with this being a pretty loose thing,
right,
and then you having that final, if it gets to that
right,
point.
if it got, you're gonna use, could it be, or one of the largest trees on the block, or some other more, just not the largest,
Or,
some,
or we could say, or, well, I don't know, I mean, I was gonna say, or we could say like a tree with a diameter of more than whatever, so if it's a big tree, you know, but,
But then you'd almost have to get into species. You'd almost have to, like, if it's a,
Right, because
if it's an elm, it needs to be this size.
Right.
If it's a this, it needs to be,
Yeah.
you could have this big one with
I don't think we
stuff.
well, I mean,
But, you know, I think if you look at like the example that Joel said, never had a driveway, put in a garage, needed a driveway, only place it can go is through this existing street tree.
Right.
Even if it's the largest one
We're
on the
gonna-
block, are we gonna say no?
I was gonna say
well,
no.
why?
no,
would
you
they-
are, I mean.
But I mean, why were they given a permit? I mean, wouldn't they have had to submit a permit showing the driveway and?
You can't,
Right, but right now, we don't have a policy in place. It's just been, this is how
yeah, the house behind us.
this has been the
did this.
procedure.
Yeah, typically, planning and development will get a permit request for the work before it's approved. And usually, like Justin or Bart will call down or send it down and say, just so you know, you got this pending permit, take a look at it. And then you look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a tree in the way. Sure be nice if they didn't cut it down. you know, I mean,
I mean, I guess it depends on the type of improvement too, cause I mean, adding a garage, yes, I think people should be able to add garages, but like, just wanting to have more concrete pad on their property, so they have more room to park cars, so it's like, so we're adding to impermeable surface and taking out a mature tree. I mean, from a water perspective, I don't have a lot of sympathy for that, so I mean, it all kind of, you know, it all kind of depends, you know, it's really hard, I mean.
about solar.
Oh,
Well, that's another
No.
that's another reason we brought this, because, you know, if that program expands and gets, I've already had people call and say, thinking about installing solar panels,
Well, I need
what
this tree
are we
now.
taking,
Oh.
but we need the street trees, I'm like, yeah,
on
we
East
don't.
West Street,
yeah.
and the garage is on the alley or
So-
something.
I'm fully expecting that request to come at some point.
Well, I think we should have enough flexibility for the village
Yeah.
to not just, you know, the, protect the trees, but also be reasonable to balance. But not, you know.
It's hard to say, you know, it's hard to do it any way other than a case-by-case basis, because it depends what kind of tree it is, it depends what kind of improvement the homeowner wants to make.
It is. But my hope is that if we have something,
Right.
even if we don't have a great,
Right, no.
honestly, a great definition of significant, if they understand that even if it's granted, they're on the hook for the removal
Yeah.
costs,
Yeah, absolutely.
that then makes me go, can I put that driveway anywhere else?
Right.
That's
Where
true.
right now, it doesn't matter because they're not bearing one iota of that cost.
Yeah, that's true, that's a
Right.
disincentive, especially if it's a big tree.
Yeah, it's a big tree.
Yeah, because that could easily run you several $1,000s.
And they're aware that we're gonna be looking if it's important, we're also
Right.
gonna be looking, if it's an important tree on the
Right.
block or
Yeah.
an important species, we're gonna.
So I do really, if we have anything at all, that includes that you bear the cost for removal, I honestly believe that's going to make people be more judicious about that request.
Unless it's diseased, or, do we say ash or diseased?
We do not.
No,
Just
even if
say
it's an
disease.
ash tree,
Yeah,
they would still cut it down,
It's still
like if
there.
it was granted,
If it was right, yeah.
right? I mean,
so how do we get the definition of significance, so it gives us what we kinda want, and I think it's the.
Okay, so if it shows no evidence of disease, damage, or defect, the applicant will be required to contact. Yeah, no, I think that's a good
Yeah.
deal. So, yeah, I would say a significant tree,
Which is species.
why don't we just say, and one of the largest, or even if it, you know, even if it's a, like, I like the variety of trees, especially in the fall, like
Right.
sometimes just, you know, you see all different colors, so like, even if color-wise, it's, if it's gonna affect that by taking it out, then, I suppose you could always replant it with the same
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
what about the word impact, you know, like, cause it could, a certain tree could impact the neighborhood street in all
Right.
different ways. Could have a huge canopy,
Right,
it could be
vary.
brilliant color,
Right.
Could be,
it could be the last of its kind, or, you know what I mean, like,
right. It's not, maybe not a large tree, maybe it's ginkgo, you know, it's like really nice.
significant, I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
We could say significant in any of the following ways: size, color, the species, importance in terms of the last of its species, or, yeah. Or overall importance to the urban forest, you know?
Mhm.
Oh,
So-
that's a real overall, your species diversity.
Because there's so many, like you said, there's so many.
Well,
things
do
that
you ever
can
get
change.
neighbors getting upset that a tree is cut, that somebody is doing something and that the tree gets cut down?
Have not
I have
so
not.
far. I mean, we get a lot of upset neighbors about lots of things, but not specifically because of,
Right.
Only if we're doing it for the street.
yeah,
The
For re-
street.
Yeah.
For rebuilding the street.
then we do, sure. So here's what I have down, and I'm just gonna suggest that,
Right.
can we fold color into species?
Yeah.
Because color is,
Yeah.
That's-
right, so significant in any of the following ways: size, species, and overall importance to the urban forest.
Yes. I like
Does that work? Okay, so then I'll strike the significant is defined like I just said. All right.
That way, we
So
have
you
the
s-
discretion if we want it, you know?
Well,
So you've taken out the largest of the species in the village.
And that would go under overall.
I mean, I
Okay.
think, yeah,
Okay.
you could pull that into size or overall
Okay.
importance, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have anything that's sort of, any review of our trees, like, like here's a really important tree?
Well, we just finished up we're just getting the data from the inventory. So, yeah, you can sort that data all different kinds of ways. Large tree, period, by size overall, by size by species,
Right.
just, you can pick kind of whatever variables you wanna use.
Well, you've got the walking tour of the.
Yeah, have to update that too,
Yeah,
cause I
historic
think
trees, so
one of
probably
those
cut
is,
them down.
Oh, yeah, I would do that. What are the trees that have like that dark purple leaf? They're so pretty.
Norway maples.
that, like, in the fall,
Yeah.
white, the autumn applause, white ash have, in my opinion, the best fall